Hello there! If you've been watching my videos before, I bet you've seen this. Bubonic Conjurers running around punching stuff instead of using magic attack from a distance. And why is that, you might ask? Well, once I read that the boxing gloves are actually superior to the staff, and I just went with it. But today I want to explore if that is actually the case and what kind of margins are we talking about here. So without further ado, let's get to it. So today we are looking at three things. 1. What is the theory behind why the boxing gloves should be better? 2. Testing the theory at 3 different maps. And 3. Coming to a conclusion on whether or not boxing gloves are actually better than the staff and what kind of margins we are talking about. When you are active farming on your Bubonic Conjurer, there are 2 things affecting how fast the Bubonic Conjurer can kill enemies. It's how fast you can take out the enemies and how fast you can respawn them. Pull from the grave is the same whether or not you cast spells with your staff or with your fists. With high enough Tenti eyes, pulls from the grave should be off cooldown at most maps most of the time. There are mainly 2 sources of taking out enemies. There are the auspicious aura and the poison gas dropped from canisters and fart ghosts. The key difference here is that the aura ticks more often, so if a single tick takes out any enemy, aura takes them out much faster than the poison gas. The theory behind why boxing gloves should be better is that since you run up to every alive enemy with the gloves on, you spread around the auspicious aura much more than you do with a ranged weapon. This lets you take out enemies faster, which means that you respawn them faster, which overall should lead to better farming rates. On the other hand, boxing gloves does not offer proper stat bonuses for your Bobo, so they might have a lower multi-kill tier on the map. Also, the added time used to run towards mobs rather than to take them out ranged is time spent not casting the 3 spells we actually need to farm the map. Also, there are a lot of different kinds of maps in the game. Some maps are spread out with tons of mobs and platforms to cover, while other maps are condensed to a single platform of enemies. The map differences in amount of mobs, spread of the mobs, and distances between the platforms should mean that there should be differences in the relative strength between the 2 different weapon categories. This is something we want to take into account when we run the tests in the upcoming part of the video. In this video, my Bubonic Conjurer has the following sets of skills. Pull from the grave at level 214 first in the skill bar, auspicious aura at level 283 second in the skill bar, flatulent spirit at 173 third in the skill bar, and chemical warfare at 173 last in the skill bar. Everything supported by a tentacle eye at level 363. Also, equipping the staff over the gloves gives a damage increase of about 50%. In the test we are conducting, I want to do 3 different types of maps with 2 different weapons equipped, all else equal. All tests run for 10 minutes, and we compare the kills from the death note before and after the 10 minutes of active farming. We also look at the drops to see if there are any discrepancies there to note of as well. For the 3 different map types, I wanted to look at the following. A map with a lot of platforms and spread out mobs. I chose the Sand Giant map. I also want to do a map with a single platform, and I landed on the Lantern Spirit map. I also wanted to do a map with several platforms, but these platforms were supposed to be close, so I went with the TV map. We ran tests as planned. First out was the Sand Giant map. It's a large and clunky map to navigate. The first run with the staff yielded 3,241,664 kills for the death note, while the run with the boxing gloves yielded 3,301,498 kills for the death note. About a 2% increase in the amount of kills with the boxing gloves. So there might actually be something to this, at least for these maps. Items gathered from the 10-minute runs seems to back up this assumption with a slightly higher item gain for the boxing gloves. Second map is Lantern Spirits. it's a single platform map and should be easily farmed by both weapon types. But here we get a large discrepancy in the results. I will explain what I think is happening here later, but think for yourself what you think is the issue here. The staff gave us 2,385,220 kills, while the boxing gloves only gave us 2,006,878 kills, 12% less than the staff did. This seems to totally disprove the statement that boxing gloves are superior, at least on this map. Items farmed also stack up to be 12% lower on the gloves than on the staff. Last map with the TVs, we also get a win for the staff over the boxing gloves with 2,980,434 kills on the staff and 2,892,736 kills on the boxing gloves, 3% lower, and similar results for the items dropped. So what is happening here? If the public consensus is that the boxing gloves are better, why are the staff beating the gloves in 2 out of the 3 map types I checked? Okay, so our tests have proved a result that is different than the consensus opinion of whether or not boxing gloves are better than the staff. And I think I know why the consensus is what it is and why our results are different. Pay attention here. Most of the sources that claims that the boxing gloves are superior to the staff, they are very old, or at least a few patches old. And since then, we have gained the possibility to upgrade our talents a lot larger. And I have Auspicious Aura at level 283, which gives us a 9 aura. And the 9 aura is actually pretty long. The main drawback of Auspicious Aura and staff when you are in the early game is that when you cast it, it's really small, and having the ability to run up to enemies and punch them and cast Auspicious Aura means that you will have several smaller dots placed around the map at the same time. But when you have a large Auspicious Aura, I don't think boxing gloves matter as much. And we just have to test this to see if that is actually the case. To test if this is relevant, I chug a talent reset potion and try Lantern's map once more, but with Auspicious Aura at 3 tiles rather than 9 tiles, which I had the first time. In theory, the coverage should be relatively better for the gloves rather than the staff now. But after 2 more runs at 10 minutes each with the results of the Auspicious Aura at level 74 rather than 283, yield even more skewed results in the staff's favor, with 16% better active kill rate on the staff than on the gloves. I check the other end of the scale too, chug a max level library book and go at it with Auspicious Aura at 11 tiles to see if that makes any difference. This time the staff beats the gloves by 25%. I don't really know what to make of this, other than the fact that with all the parameters my account is at the current time, staff will beat boxing gloves by a substantial amount, at least in some map types. My final thinking is that this might be weapon speed, or the fact that we spend less time running, thereby more time casting Raise Dead, but in any case, I think I will no longer use boxing gloves on the Bubonic Conjurer. I hope this encourages you to try out your own tests too. And as always, thanks for watching. If you enjoy my stuff, consider checking out the other stuff I make as well. And with that, good gains to you in the new year, and take care.